Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And before I start the podcast, just a note that I might not be able to post or upload episodes in the next coming few weeks, maybe couple of weeks, because I'll be traveling. So I will not be able to have access not enough access. I mean, I would be having limited access to Wi-Fi, and in that, it would be difficult for me to upload my episodes. Also, I will be busy, not just traveling, but getting a few things done. And I really need to beat the heat. I'm literally. It's like I feel like I'm braised chicken right now. So, but but I don't think much is going to happen in the next 2 weeks. In fact, this is why I'm kind of making this podcast now, because as I'm listening to all the journalists talking about the scandals breaking out in less than 24 hours of the government leaving, the illegal government finally leaving. I'm sorry, but what is the surprise there? All the journalists are talking about it as if, this is this massive breaking news. And hello. If you listen to my previous podcasts way before this government came, even, I've been talking about how the government has left landmines. In fact, not just me, most of us, most of the, concerned people amongst the public and amongst relevant journalists and in other fields that are concerned or relevant to the whole system, they have all mentioned the fact that the previous government had left landmines for Imran Khan's government to step on at every step. And that is what is happening, because they left their people in all the strategic positions, which I kept on and on complaining about, how this was one of the worst, most fatal mistakes Imran Khan made by not removing those people. And this is why we're facing what we're facing today. And also, in my previous podcast, I have constantly said that they will come with a vengeance, and they would come with full preparation, and they will come to wrap things up, because this time they're going to come to completely paralyze the country, to backtrack the country, to basically put a stop to the country's progress, because the ultimate goal of American minions was basically to follow the ultimate goal of America, which is to stop Pakistan from existing as an independent sovereign state. And obviously, knowing that there is no future, I mean, at least that is what they came. They came with that in mind, that this would be this would be the final step to be taken, and that is why the establishment and the army very openly committed treason with these people. Not thinking of the future consequences, because actually, in all of their minds, this was supposed to be the final stage leading to the fruition of the long-term plan, which meant leading to the utter termination or elimination of Pakistan as a sovereign state. That finally Pakistan would be removed from the map, and that this was supposed to be their conclusive step or stage, if you understand. So they did not come here keeping consequences in mind. They came here to do a quick dine and dash. And so they were here to make sure that everything is turned upside down. And in the meanwhile, obviously, because they are thieves at the end of the day, their whole goal was to get as much money as they could and send all of that back abroad, and then escape as soon as the time came. And that is exactly what they did. So I'm sorry, why are the journalists talking as if this was, the biggest scandal ever, and never in the history of Pakistan could anybody think that they could, that they could be so many corruption scandals within 16 months. I mean, that is exactly what they came here for. They came here to get money, and they came here to steal our money. And I told you guys that in the beginning, that within 24 hours, he would empty the treasury, and he did. That is the first thing that Shehbaz Sharif did, because how else are you going to lead the country towards default, if not by completely emptying the treasury? So now they're all, and now people are also, journalists are talking about how there's going to be this huge accountability in this. In the past 70 years we have never had accountability. That is why Pakistan is where it is today. So please, let's be realistic here. Please don't talk about Pakistan and accountability as if these two go hand in hand. Never have they gone hand in hand, never will they be hand in hand, I'm sorry to say, because Pakistan as a system had already failed, because we already had traitors in within the system. So it was, that is why Imran Khan utterly failed. I mean, 3 years is not even enough to even start to demolish an existing rotten foundation, let alone rebuild something atop of this already rotten foundation. It would take us another 50 to 70 years just to do that. And that is even if we had the same person. And the same person is not going to last for more than 10 years. Even if by some miracle Imran Khan comes back and manages to last 10 years, it still will not be enough. This is a fact. Let's face it. Let's wake up to reality. At the end of the day, they came here to destroy the country, which they've done. They came here to loot the people and to completely plunder this country, which they have done. 16 months, you're saying? 16 months is a heck of a long time. People get stuff done, in 24 hours. Stealing is no such big deal, especially when you already have people in all the positions. You've got people in Lesco to steal the money and via bills. You've got people in gas, again, stealing money via bills. You've got people in NAB going around stealing from rich people, breaking down doors, which they've done with PTI's members. They stole from them very openly in broad daylight through police, through FIA, through army. And then, we've got the bills and taxes put together. They're stealing all of that. And then they're taking their friends and their families on trips abroad, using all that money, our money. It's nothing going out of their pockets, And then, and then they're talking about, oh, there's going to be this great accountability. You just see everybody's going to be, held accountable left, right, and center. Our system never held anybody accountable. If we actually had an accountability, I don't think these people would be here alive today amongst us. These people would have been caught and, hanged. Pretty much the year they first came as premiers, Zardari as president, Nawaz Sharif as premier, Benazir as premier. Pretty much after the very first tenures, they would have been caught and hanged for treason, for corruption, for whatever it is that you want. I mean, they never were held accountable for the past 50, 60 years, and you expect them to be held accountable all of a sudden now, today. Why? Because, now the establishment and the army have realized that they have really dug their own graves, and now they need to somehow, fill those graves up with these people. No, that's not going to happen, because, as I said, they've all reached to the point of no return, and there never has been a system of accountability in Pakistan implemented. We may have laws, we may have bureaus for that, we may have departments for that, but we've never had accountability. We've always had revenge politics, and we've had treason committed out in the open, and like how right now the army killed its own people from within, who, because in the name of mutiny, because they were against them committing treason, and so anybody who was against the traitors was just killed. Within the army, outside of the army, amongst the politicians, amongst the journalists, many were killed, many were injured, many were tortured. I mean, what do you want, from the people when you're trying to give them false hope that, this is I'm sorry, but I think that is the most irresponsible thing any journalist would say, no matter how veteran they are, no matter how senior they are. In Pakistan, it seems every journalist is a senior veteran journalist anyway, and every journalist is actually an analyst for some odd reason. It's like everybody is a PhD holder and nobody knows anything. I mean, or maybe they're just trying to, create some sort of a dramatic narrative, and, but I'm sorry. Let's just be real here. Let's speak the truth. The truth is, Pakistan has never held anybody accountable till date. Pakistan has always made the innocent suffer. while the traitors and the corrupt have always roamed free and always allowed to flee the country. Why? Because they have all that money. They're sponsored by America, they're sponsored by the Brits, and they have all that wealth that they have stolen from us, and that they have taken as bribes and kickbacks and as sponsorship money, and they're it's all out there abroad. We couldn't even get that money back. Heck, Nigeria got their money back from Swiss banks. India got its money back from Swiss banks. How is it that Pakistan never got its money back from Swiss banks? I mean, you really need to think about it, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm sorry, but my question here is that why do people think that there's going to be, that this is a huge surprise or a huge shock that 16 months these people could not, that nobody could have imagined them to commit such atrocities and such serious corruption in 16 months? I mean, I imagined them way before they came, and I predicted it. And if I can predict it, it means almost everybody amongst the public has predicted it. So why are the journalists talking about it as if this was an unbelievable fact, for God's sake? Also, why are the journalists talking about them as if they're talking about having expectations from them to do something? Why? They didn't come here to do something. As I keep on and on repeating myself, they came here to destroy the country, which they've done. 16 months is a lot of time. Thank you very much. In fact, they actually had a huge time, and this is something that they would have done in 6 months. Actually, they came hoping to get it done in 3 months, but it's because of Imran Khan that it took 16 months. But yeah, I mean, come on, it takes hours literally to just start stomping on people and stealing money, especially when you're in the government. Hello. So yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry, I'm not expecting any accountability here. I'm not expecting anybody to be caught for anything. Imran Khan is still in jail. I don't care how many good news people are bringing about Imran Khan. The fact is that the good news will only be good news if he's actually physically out of jail. Otherwise, there is no good news. So, yeah, no, I don't agree with all those good news. Yeah, there might be good news in some weird, theoretical, superficial, political sort of a sphere, but no. In deep, dark reality, black is black and white is white, okay? And it is as simple as this. The only good news is if Imran Khan physically is let out of jail, okay? And then the only good news will be that once he's out, he musters up power and strength, and the public and him, all of us, we all get together and we hang the traitors. That will be the next good news ever, because we need to teach them a lesson, and we need to teach all the future generations a lesson to last them forever, that if you do this, you will surely be killed. If you commit treason against this country, you will be killed. It doesn't matter if you're working with the Americans or the British. It doesn't matter if you're working with French or Portuguese. Who gives a frack about that? The point is, as long as you're traitors, this is the result. This is the end result. This is the consequence, your death. That is how China brought its people back to reality. That is how the Chinese government made sure that the corruption within Chinese government is almost eradicated. That is how in other countries, examples are made out of their political leaders. But in countries like India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, and in countries like even America, you have corrupt criminals roaming around. You've got rapists in the government, and you've got criminals in the government, and nobody to touch them. And yet you've got innocent people being framed and put in jails and tortured and killed. So yeah, we're basically following the Israeli-American system here, where there is no truth, and the only truth is that which is fabricated and which is a narrative that is pushed forward. And that is why you see that even in certain Western channels also they're being forced to create a negative narrative, but because many of those journalists still have some sort of that freedom, despite the limited censorship within their media. So they somehow or the other manage to get their true narrative out, for which we're quite thankful. I know I am. And I am very thankful to those in the British media and in the Western media and in the American media who, stuck true to their, they stayed true to their beliefs and they stuck to the truth. And they did not allow people to dictate their narrative. And I'm also not at all impressed with the Al Jazeera and with New York Times and all. But then, that's what you expect from them. They give you a narrative that is given to them. It is a dictated narrative, a scripted narrative, and all they have to do is to sort of copy paste it. So yeah, again, I would advise that you look for alternate news outlets, which is basically social media, if you want to find out what's going on in Pakistan, as opposed to the narrative that is being shoved up our faces every day through mainstream media all over. The government may have gone. Again, I would repeat, the government may have gone, and people may think, oh, yeah, now they're gone. I'm sorry, they're gone, but again, we don't know who's coming in the caretaker government. Scandals have broken out, corruption scandals have broken out. Who cares? Who cares? It's not like the establishment or the army are going to wake up and say, oh, this is our chance to, once again get back into the fold with the people, and let's just, start arresting people. Let's let Imran Khan out. And because they know that they have gone to the point of no return, as I keep saying, I don't think that they even realize how far they've gone, or maybe they have realized how far they're gone, and that's why they'd rather die than try to take a U-turn at this point. There might be a few sensible people who might be arguing within the, because that is all these people can do, is sit and argue amongst themselves as to what they need to do next. Although it's really as simple as that. Resign, all of you. All of you in the establishment and all of you in the army, you better resign and you better run for your lives, because I don't think anybody's going to forgive you. And if you stay put, then you're in for a bitter ride. I think that the journalists need to stop talking about accountability and about how people are going to be caught, and how I'm not seeing that. And that has never happened before. It will never happen again. It won't happen in the future. I can guarantee that. It can only happen when all these people, all these players are removed, and we have completely new players put in these positions, in these posts. And when the court is actually being listened to. I mean, as we have it, there is no government. The government is all out. Election Commission has taken the reins, but what has Election Commission done till date? Till date, Election Commission has worked with the illegal government in committing many of those illegal and corrupt acts. And now even the court is not being listened to. The court is, the police, the law enforcement are still in contempt of court, when the court has constantly ordered them to, to let Imran Khan have visitors, to let his lawyers visit him, and they refused. Before that, the court said that he should not be arrested. They refused. Before that, the court said that all these trials are bogus. They refused. So, do you see anybody coming, listening to the court today? No, the caretaker government is not in place. The illegal government is already out and dissolved. Do you see anybody listening to the courts today? No. So I don't see any accountability coming. I don't see why the journalists are acting as if somebody had some expectations from this government. Nobody in the public had any expectations from this government. We all knew exactly what they were here to do. They were here to destroy the country, which they've done. Okay? So yeah, please, even journalists who are trying to maybe give a positive note, stop doing that. Let's stick to reality. The reality is Pakistan is basically destroyed, and Imran Khan is not out of jail. The day he comes out of jail, you would actually look good giving positive vibes and hopes to people. So, wherever you are, however you are, hope you're all safe and sound and healthy. And this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.